Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Virgo for April 2015. Go to my website, aspiritualspark.com, or click on the link below this video to see more about my personal live coaching and to see more about my new 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine, both of which are available on a sliding scale, and both of which are intended to help you navigate the astrological waters of your life and our co-creations more gracefully and more in wonderful co-manifestation with the universe. And while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter. So what is going on in April? We have a very powerful month still from these eclipses, the actual lunar eclipse taking place right in the beginning of the month. We've been talking about this because lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, eclipses in general often start to bring their news, bring their energy, tell their stories up to 6 weeks before the actual event. So since the solar eclipse was March 20th, then 6 weeks before that, news could start coming in there. April 4th, lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse opposing Uranus square Pluto. So crazy. This is so crazy intense. But this is crazy awesome. If you want to clear out old karma, if you want to strengthen your weak links within you, I always see these transits as bringing up your weak links. You know, as humans, we have certain things that are strengths, certain things that are weaknesses, and if we play our cards right, we can make all of those weaknesses strengths, and things that debilitated us before, with some really good, solid, consistent inner work, those things can bring us blessings. So at eclipse time, we have a lot of suddenness, a lot of swift decisions, news, information coming in. Eclipses are just like that anyway. But when you have them involved with Uranus in a close aspect like this, especially in one that could be challenging, there are going to be tons of things that just come out of the blue. Most of the time when people think of something coming out of the blue, especially, well, if you are familiar with Uranus, it can often bring many a thing, or even eclipses, that are not desirable that come out of the blue. Uranus, of course, can also bring surprises that are good as well. But when it's in a challenging angle, the odds of it being something that you experience as more challenging are increased. Then you have it squared to Pluto, and this is just the power, it's so powerful. The planet of life and death and rebirth and transformation and regeneration. Again, in a challenging aspect to this eclipse. So eclipses eclipse something out. They take something away. They remove something from your life. They close chapters. Lunar eclipses happen on the full moon. So we already know that full moon cycles make these closing, make these endings, make these somewhat dramatic or emotional kind of ends or culminations that come. Well, the lunar eclipse is when there's a full moon that also has a lunar eclipse. It has the power, the strength of 3 full moons. So if you imagine you might get emotional around a full moon, multiply that times 3, everything in triplicate at these eclipses. And then you have these two different angles. So it's just, there's so much going on. Many people are going to have changes in relationships of every kind, changes in home situations, changes in things involving their relatives, things involving their image, how they see themselves, how other people see them, what they're presenting into the world. Maybe you have been a certain way for a long time. This kind of energy can all of a sudden have you wake up and not be in certain roles that you were in before. And now what, right? So sometimes transitions are difficult just because of the nature that they're different. And this eclipse can just bring in some things that are so different that they're difficult because it's just adjusting, the adjustment period. You know, they don't necessarily have to bring in something bad. They can bring in just something so different that it takes a little while to recover or catch your breath from the things that are happening, because they can happen very quickly. So the stories that are starting now might take into the fall for their full story to be heard. So maybe if you get some news or some information comes in, you can kind of see where the next 6 months are going. But you won't know the full story until you reap the harvest from the seeds planted now. This is how these eclipses work. So right now, we're ending some of the stories that started in the fall and starting new stories or adding layers to those previous stories. So all of that is going on this month. So the beginning of the month is very emotional, very powerful, lots of surprises in store. April 8th, we have Jupiter going direct. Jupiter is the great benefic, the bringer of optimism and joy and positive energy. And when that moves forward, it brings all of that bubbliness with it. So right now it has been sleeping since December. Some Virgos, you will have had Jupiter accentuating your 12th house, probably more the earlier placement Virgos, earlier birthday Virgos. For you middle to later degree Virgos, that Jupiter is likely still accentuating your 11th house. Wherever it goes, it brings this expansion. So for you early Virgos, last year, especially starting from the summer through the end of the year, this moved into a time where you need more rest, you need more quiet, you need more peace, you need more focus on intuitive things or your mind or your own space, or going on a sabbatical. This is telltale sabbatical energy. If you are a Virgo that has been wanting a sabbatical, needing a sabbatical, taking one, this is very much in line. And for you middle to later degree Virgos, this is coming for you. So if you're planning one, your timing is really good, because when you have this accentuator to your 12th house, it wants to accentuate your quietness. Okay, so for the rest of you who still have had this accentuating your 11th house, this is your teams, organizations, groups, internet-related things. This is also the house of your big dreams, really big dreams, the biggest dreams you could possibly imagine. That's the 11th house. Now the 12th house is the house of your dreams at night, which is a little bit different, although you can combine them. So if you have had something you're working on, say it's a sabbatical, say it's something with a team or a group or an internet project or something with social media or anything involving humanitarianism, if you have a project and it seemed like it was starting to heat up at last year, and then at the end of the year it just sort of just kind of went somewhere, and you say, gosh, what happened? Part of what happened might have been that Jupiter went retrograde at the beginning of December. It's been sleeping. So now on April 8th, it awakes from its slumber and starts to get zippy. Especially zippy because it's in a fellow fire sign to its ruler, or what it rules, which is Sagittarius. So it's moving forward in Leo, and it brings a lot of positive energy with it. So if you have some projects that seem like they went to sleep, very likely those things are going to start to awaken at this time. So April 16th, we have Pluto going retrograde. Now Pluto thrives in retrograde because Pluto rules the deep inner, as deep and in as you can go energy is Pluto. And when it's in retrograde, that's even more deep and in. So this is a wonderful time for inner spring cleaning, doing detoxes, clearing out energy within you, doing mental clearing, emotional clearing, physical clearing, juice fasts, things like that. Are very much indicated when Pluto's in retrograde, and it's retrograde from April 16th until September 25th. So then now the end of the month, we have more of this lighter energy. We have April 18th is a new moon in Aries. This is one of the two best times in the whole year to do a vision board. Vision boards are tools, practices that help you to bring in the things that you want. If you have been feeling like you're just getting thrown around by life and that you have absolutely no say in what's going on, some of that is true, right? But there are things that you can have say in, and you are here to play, and you are here to create on this earth plane. So the more you learn the rules of the game, the more fun it is. And it makes me think of kids on the sideline. You know, if I know that many people have a lot of joy that comes from competitive sports, and I don't have a judgment on anything that is bringing people joy, that isn't hurting someone. And at the same time, I think there's an overemphasis of competitive focus, and it creates a lot of problems for people. So I imagine this child sitting on the sideline. This is very much like the energy I'm describing, where someone feels so defeated by life, they just want to play, right? So having the child not in the game because they're not good at it and they might not win the game, that's how many people are feeling with astrological transits and with life, is that you feel like you're just on the sidelines of your own life. Vision boards can help you play back in the game. It's something to get excited about. It's something to focus your creative, co-creative faculties on. And if you do inner work while you're doing focuses on a vision board, you can clear out the obstacles to what you're trying to create. That's the other piece that goes with the law of attraction. That's the other piece that goes with creating in your life, is that you can only create in accordance with what's inside. So if you're trying to create something and it's not manifesting, that's because something inside of you is not a match for it. And you have to clear that out. You have to get everything in your being on the same page. You know that I love The Presence Process by Michael Brown. One of my all-time favorite resources. It's a 10-week journey you take. This book is accessible to everyone. It's very inexpensive. You can find it on Amazon. And this is the type of thing that you do that work, and then you go to do a vision board, or you go to do something else, and your self-sabotage percentage gets cut significantly. And if you keep doing that practice, you can cut out the self-sabotage in your life. It's pretty astounding. So all of this is very much indicated at this time, April 18th, awesome time to do a vision board. The end of the month continues to be sweet with other energy. We have Mercury and Mars conjunct in Taurus, and that is wonderful strategizing energy. That's the key word. April 21st, April 22nd. Key word is making strategies. And on the same day, Venus is sextiling Jupiter, and Venus rules love and money, and Jupiter is the great expander in a sweet angle. So big news with love and money could happen. We also have Uranus making a sextile with Venus, and this is surprising things that could be big involving love and money. And these are all in a favorable angle. So in general, for Virgos this month and in the upcoming months, there's a strong focus on partnership, strong focus on relationship. You've got 7th house, which is the first house of relationship, 8th house, which is the second house of relationship, being accentuated. Some of you early Virgos will have Mars moving into the 9th house. Mars is our little generator, not our big generator like Pluto, but our little generator, like our little border collie generator that's running around in circles, yipping at everything, right? You know, I love border collies, and Mars reminds me of that. So wherever Mars is in your chart, it's there for 6-ish weeks every 2 years. And so moving into your 9th house, it's accentuating this area in a way that it hasn't been accentuated in 2 years and won't be for another 2 years. So your 9th house is your house of teaching and learning and international affairs or travel, anything involving different countries, different languages, publishing projects, teaching, inspiring people, religion, churches, anything involving philosophy and anything like that, big topics. Mars is moving into that place. So for you early Virgos, it's already there, starting at the beginning of April. For you middle to later Virgos, you are going to have some or all of April still with Mars in your 8th house, but soon it will get to your 9th house to accentuate the things I just talked about. But until then, for the rest of you, Mars, the little generator, is still in this house of collaborating, of meeting of the minds, of working in cooperation with people for synergizing, for gains that are mutual. I always think of Mars as if you imagine whatever you're hot on at that time, you're just like, gosh, I'm so focused on this right now. I really like this right now. I don't know what's come over me. A lot of times that's because Mars is in that area of your chart, and it's just making you be crazy about whatever it is. And so the 8th house is the house of mystery and deep studies about psychology and things that are secrets, occult knowledge and wisdom, ancient knowledge and wisdom. It's also the house of other people's money. There's a strong focus for Virgo energy, this story about my money and my things versus our money and our things, and what's the difference and what's going on and what's getting all shuffled around. So the way the eclipses are hitting, there's this strong energy of me versus we, and what's mine and what's yours and what's ours. And some people are going to be focusing more on themselves and maintaining their energy within their dynamic. Some people are going to focus on being less individual and merging into cooperation. There's a strong energy of moving in cooperation with other people. For some of you, it's going to be that you have to do that better. For some of it, it's going to be you have to hold your space better while you do it so that you aren't in a deficit the way that you're engaging with people. Many Virgos are caretakers. Many Virgos are people who are in service to other people. And I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again. you have to watch how much energy you're giving over to certain situations. Okay, so if you're exhausted all the time and you're helping other people, you have to replenish yourself and figure out ways that you can work with people and help people that are more empowering to both of you. This is a big theme that's been happening, that's going to continue happening. So, lots of stuff in store for April. Very, very powerful time. If you would like some assistance in navigating through this, you can go to my website, aspiritualspark.com, or click on the link below this video. While you're there, you can email me about my live coaching sessions, which are available on a sliding scale. You can also see more about my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine, which is intended to help you synergize with the stars instead of being thrown around by them, and bringing your brilliance. It's all about clearing out those things that you're terrified of so that you can be who you really are and bring what you're bringing. We all have these unique, just so unique ways, such unique ways that energy moves through us that is not like anyone else, even twins, even triplets. The way energy moves through you is not the way it moves through other people. You have something special that you're bringing, and you want to clear the junk out of the way that is blocking you from being your authentic self and being brilliant. So you can go to my website to see more about that, and you can sign up for my free email newsletter and become part of my community. And I hope you have a wonderful April. Bye. See you next month.